Greetings, queens and kings. If you are stopping by, welcome back to my channel. I missed you guys. You know, our other show that's on my channel, finale happened last week. So, you know, we had Ready to Love episode 3, which I'm going to do a double today. I'm going to do 3 and 4. 4 is still fresh in our heads, but I really want to get, you know, into a few points from episode 3. So we have a 2 episode in this video. So definitely get in there. If you haven't subscribed yet, please, queens, subscribe, share with your friends and family. Let's get in here and have a discussion on what's going on in Ready to Love Miami. Like I said, we're doing episode 3 and 4. Click that notification bell so you do not miss out on future content. So let's get into it. We are going to jump in here and talk about Looney. Our girl Looney is back. She was sick with COVID. She strutted in there. I love her smile. I love her energy. When she steps in the room, Looney lights it up. That's my sister. I really have a good vibe on her. I'm one who, you know, probably the Pisces in me, all about the energy, the aura. We pick up on a lot of things and vibes a lot. Any other Pisces in there? Hit it in that, put it in the comments. Let me know if you're a lot like me. So, you know, I stray away from when something doesn't feel right about the space, about a person. I keep my distance. So with her, I'm getting a good vibe. So I see, you know, some couples this episode talking about that energy and that vibe, you know, when you're talking about chemistry and getting with someone. So I totally get that, because I like a person's energy too. It can be magnetic, it can be repellent. So you have to look at yourself too when you're talking about that energy. What energy are you portraying to people? Are you trying to be a light? Trying to bring that doom and gloom and that repellent energy? So sometimes we have to check ourselves. So anyway, Looney gets in there with LJ, and you know, the vibe is going good. He asked her, you know, what one of the things she mentioned about him was that he moved with intention. You know, she liked the fact that he went in there and got those digits. He asked for those digits when they first met. So when she was out sick, he was checking on her, and she really appreciated that. And that was really kind of you, LJ. So I knew I liked my man. So that was really nice. And so she said she just wants someone genuine. There are so many representatives that come today. I think people sometimes are afraid to be their full authentic selves because they think there are things that people may not like, that make them bring a little representative at first, always being on their best behavior, or always just trying to show the positive, which we always want to step with our best foot forward, but we also want to be authentic as well. But we tend to be very judgmental people today, and it makes people sometimes hard to do that. But after a certain period of time, as time goes on, because it's all about that timing, you can start to peel those layers a little bit, especially when that trust develops, and start letting people know your authentic self. So I understand that, because I think a lot of people today are not genuine enough. They are being who they feel people will accept them more. I mean, I was like that. You know, who you think people will appease, you know, you will be more appeasing to people or accepted if you're a certain way, or you match in a certain personality of a person that everyone likes. And you have to learn to just be you. And whether they like it or not, you have to feel comfortable in your own skin. So that's really what she wants. I think that's what most of us want. Someone genuine, sincere. She said she doesn't have any family. I think she lost her mom. So, you know, she wants to feel protected. You know, she has no one. When you don't have anyone like that in your corner, protection is everything to a woman, period. So LJ said he understood that because all his family is back home, you know, in the islands. So he understood that he doesn't have any family here too. So I think that's something that they can both bond and be family for one another. Yeah, so they seem to be getting along really good, and it's easy. I like that easy communication, like friends, and you're talking, you're warming up to one another. But I think you know, that person has to set that tone and make themselves a little more receptive to wanting to delve in. And some of these sisters, you know, are not. They may come off a little harsh and abrasive, and we get to those. But you want that illuminating personality at first to make a person want to divulge a little more and be more receptive of you. So then we get into Shakira and Zoe, and she had her reservations, you know, at Zoe, but the men now have the power this week, or well, last week on the 3rd episode. So Tommy wanted them to do something different and go out with someone that they normally probably wouldn't go out with, and it's doing pretty good for some of them. So they Zoe and Shakira went out, and he came with his shades or whatever, and she wanted, you know, him, what's up with the shades? Take the shades off. I get that. You know, I want to see your eyes. You can see a lot from a person's eye. You know, they say that's the window to the soul, but it's true. You know, are you looking at me direct? Are you always looking down, away, like you hiding something? So that's what she said. So one of the things she was really keen on, like most of her dates, is how they're going to feel about the fact that she has a child. And this is not a unicorn thing, Shakira. There's so many women who are single moms today. That's not new. Men should be used to it, especially if you're getting an older woman. She's, you know, fairly young still, but that's not an anomaly. I mean, this is something that men should be more used to today, and they have their preference whether they want a woman with children or not. So I'm not going to stigmatize or beat someone up if they choose to not be with someone that doesn't, especially if they don't. But Zoe, he understood, you know, about the fact that, you know, you accept me, you have to accept my child. He has a daughter, and he feels the same way. You got to accept my child. So that they were on the same page with. She was unsure with the situation because of his lifestyle. I guess he does a lot of traveling, probably for work. But you know, he didn't seem to have a problem with that. So she really discussed that. She wanted to see if there was a connection. And another thing she mentioned was that you didn't ask for my number. And I think she did this with someone else in 4th episode. We'll get into that. You didn't, you know, get my number. What's up with that? I mean, don't come off a little thirsty. Put in the comments, you know, what you think about that. You know, initially, if you don't ask for my number with intention, like LJ did with Looney, then evidently you didn't get the opportunity maybe to talk to me, where you was interested enough to get my number. And that's cool. I'm not going to beat you down for that. Maybe you didn't get around to me to talk at all, so that's why you didn't get a chance to ask for the number. So I think they met and had a little conversation. That's why she wanted to meet again, because she had a little preconceived notion. But if he didn't, then fine. Maybe he wasn't interested enough, and it was almost like a little guilt thing. Like, you know, he said, yeah, I definitely want to call you. She was like, you gonna use it? I'm like, the man got the number. If he wants to call, he will call. Men go after what they want. Men are natural born conquerors. If they want you, you will know it. They will pursue you, unless they like justice and think they the king of the world and nobody's good enough for him to go chasing after. It doesn't work that way in his man's world. That king don't pursue nobody. That's a whole nother story. Justice is a piece of work, and he is totally rubbing me the wrong way. But yeah, we'll get to him in a little while. But yeah, so they will contact you, sis, if they want to. They will make it known if they're interested. That's all I'm gonna say on that one. Now, Sharice meets with Samson. They have a nice conversation. He said the first time he had met with her, you know, she wasn't making any contact with him. You know, Sharice was coming real funky the first 2 weeks, so she wasn't really showing too much. But when they met one-on-one, they had a very nice conversation. She said he's normally not his type, but he seems like a protector. So that's why she wanted to talk a little bit more. So she talked about her family and, you know, I guess those southern roots with eating the cornbread, collard greens, and whatever, of her family. And he said, you know, he lost his dad, who was Pakistani, and he mentioned that, you know, he was a different, you know, religion and faith than his mother, who was a Christian. but he glad that, you know, I guess those differences didn't stop their love and for coming together and producing him. And you know, of course he misses dad, but his mom is everything to him, and he wants a black woman like his mom. You know, he honors that. He thinks that's so special. That's what I love about Samson, because like I told you last episode, I didn't really think I was feeling him at first when I first saw him, but you have to listen and get to know a person a little bit before you make any presumptions, because now I'm really liking how Samson's talking, where his head is at, and I'm getting a good vibe for this brother. So they spoke about energy, having a good, you know, vibe. Because he asked her, what would make you, you know, want to know a man more? And she says, you know, that energy, you know, if it's that good chemistry, because you can have a good conversation. I want a conversation that's natural. I don't want to feel forced. And how that, you know, man is talking to you, and the vibe that you're getting and the energy will show how the conversation is gonna flow. I don't want it to interrogate, make it like an interrogation, asking a whole lot of questions like an interview. You want it to flow, and they seem to be having a nice conversation where the energy is flowing right. So I get that, you know, I understand when they talk about that energy and vibe, and they have a good vibe going so far. And he mentioned that at the end when they met in the men's in the gentleman's quarters. So yes, now they have an outing, a group outing, and you have Mike, Swayze, and Justice. They doing this acrobatic stuff, and the women is Looney, Kayla, Sharice, and April. Now, Mike, like, I ain't come here to be a part of Barnum and Bailey circus. Yeah, because you don't do too much effort for women. We remember that. Check, Justice, okay? So we get it. Now, Mike and Kayla having a little conversation. They said in the past, you know, Mike said it was like a little tug of war thing between the two of them, so they trying to get it flowing. And, you know, they doing a little slick talk. Mike is not going too deep with Kayla, but, you know, I guess they trying to keep it light and having their little laughs. But in goes April. All of a sudden, she comes in and interrupt. Now, this is what I got to say on that. She starts to press Mike on. When they had their first talk, she felt like he wasn't really feeling her. She felt like he wasn't into her like that. So that was that. Sis, if a man already gave you that feeling that he wasn't interested, and you don't see him coming after you and pursuing you anymore, why jump and interrupt his conversation with another woman he trying to vibe with, and come and say, you know, what did you do? You know, you didn't seem like you was too into me for that. And, you know, so you want another no? You want another negative feeling? But now you're looking thirsty. Put in the comments, what do y'all think about that situation where April came back after Mike, after she said he already wasn't, you know, feeling her? Why you got to come back again? You only got to tell me one time or make me feel that one time. I'm not going to be pushing you. You know, and then it was almost an uncomfortable situation the way she was coming after him. Swayze saved Kayla, thank goodness. She was like, what was that about? And this is what I'm talking about. When we get too abrasive and too demanding and forceful when you're initially meeting someone, and it's not going and flowing naturally, or you not getting a vibe that he's interested or is positive, keep it moving to the next one. And, you know, some people can't take that level of rejection. You got to come to them and say, no, I'm not interested. In your face like that for you to know. You need to hear those concrete words in order for you to move on. Like a woman, you know, will constantly be mistreated and, you know, done wrong over and over again. But if she didn't hear the man say, I no longer want to be with you, get out of my life, bye, and those exact words, when you already getting all the clues that he's really not that into you, I don't need a whole lot to pick up on that. So April went all the way left with that. So yeah, Swayze came, took Kayla. They have a good vibe. They're attracted. She said that before. She's liking Swayze more and more. She, you know, he thinks she's cool. He was like, well, you know, where are some of the places? She asked where you hang out. I'm not like I'm looking for you, but I'm looking for you. Something to that effect that she said. And I'm like, girl, yeah, you want to slip into wherever he hang at so you go find him, I guess, when y'all not filming. But yeah, so they seem to be pretty cool. and they, you know, I guess went on with the rest of their time. Then you have Mike and Sharice now. They already, she said in the beginning that she wasn't feeling Mike. She had an issue with the fact that he has baggage, which is a marriage once. He's, you know, has an ex-wife and 3 children. Now, this man is well in his 40s. Of course, you're going to have many men who have been married or have children that may have been divorced, or maybe not divorced but have children. Wasn't married but have children. So this is something that you that's normal to find in when you're in your 40s, well into your 40s. So, you know, Sharice, I think she's in her mid 40s, 43, 45, something like that. But she said that was a red flag for her, and Mike was really taken aback by that. He was like, well, why you don't have no kids? She was like, because I haven't met someone to, you know, to have children with. And he was like, well, I can see that as a red flag, which is true. Like, what's wrong with you that maybe you weren't married, or you never had a long-term relationship, or, you know, you don't have children at this point? And, well, there's a lot of career women who don't, and they put that part behind them until they finish doing what they need to do with their careers. So that's not unusual. And her thing was, you know, she has that right. She has that right. I personally would not prefer a man with little children when my youngest is 19. You know, all my children are grown. So why would I want someone with babies and have a future and starting that over again when I'm so happy I'm done with that portion of my life? And, you know, I'm in my early 50s, so I'm not looking for little children. I already have 2 little ones, 2 grandsons. So that's just my preference. They would have to be older children or grown like mine, because I want to be able to have that freedom to do things. I want to be able to come and go as I please now, and not to be limited. I'm not limited with mine, so I don't want to be limited with anyone else. And that's my preference. And someone may think that that's bad, but she has no children. She was never married. She never had any children. She don't want to deal with maybe the ex-wife stuff and how that whole dynamic. When she don't have her own children, she don't have to worry about that. It's different. It's your experience versus hers. And we really can't get mad with that, Mike. Can't get mad with that. So that's how he felt. And, you know, he was feeling some kind of way, so they left it like that. Now, you have Tamika and Randall. And I think Tamika is a doll. I love her energy as well. Bubbly, good spirit. Randall, I like his personality as well. They clicked. I believe he's her number one she's really interested in. He asked how she's doing, because, you know, she came in with the cast on her, I think her hand or wrist or something, but she's doing better. And, you know, he talked about her, you know, last relationship she had was in 2019. He asked, you know, do she think she's ready to love? And she's, you know, I guess felt that in these few years she's really worked on herself. She takes herself out. Started doing that more and better. And he was like, that's nice. You go out alone? She was like, yes. And she went through this healing and work on herself. And you can see it, because I think she's a beautiful, sweet person. And she's ready now. And I like that nurturing spirit, because even he mentioned he was a little nervous. She would hold his hand during the date, rub on his shoulder, I guess, to bring him comfort. You know, women tend to be natural nurturers and caretakers, and she surely let that ooze out and brought him that comfort. I'm sure he appreciated that. Now we see Randall is like the ladies' man, that many women are really going to, and he can seem a little quirky at first, you know, have that humor and personality that many women may not gravitate to. You know, he's not that whole tough alpha male, you know, oozing that whole sexy thing like maybe some of the other brothers giving off. But it's something, it's a level of kindness and comfort that comes from Randall that I can see would attract a lot of women. And that's what he's doing. So even though, you know, Trinika may be having her eyes on him, mainly he's gonna have, I think, about 3 or 4 interests, because he's really communicating with more than just her. But he's willing to get to know her a little deeper, because he said that one date is not gonna be enough. So I like where they're going so far, but let's see, because Trinika may need to, you know, also keep her options open, because Randall surely is keeping his. Now they have another group dating archery. Swayze, Mike, Brandy, Katie, Katie eating her ribs while she interrogating Mike. And he like, yo, like, you know, they had their little reservations. Mike said Katie may be a little uptight. She said that's not her personality. She's very much a free spirit, so she don't know where he's getting that from. She said I can see the same for you because I see you as an introvert and a little uptight. And he's saying that's totally not him, because at first he was coming off a little more reserved, but he's saying that's not it. Like I said, I was a little nervous, even though I liked Mike in the beginning. I was a little nervous to see, was he really ready? Because I know this was his first love that he was married to. They had their family, and a lot of times, men who've been with someone for an extended period of time, may have been a heartbreaking experience, took a lot out of him emotionally. There may be a level of comparing other women to her, looking for certain qualities that he loved in his ex and making it harder for the next one. So I didn't know if that dynamic may slip in there. But it's just whatever is your cup of tea. And if you know person is not for you and they're not your, don't force it. Just let it go naturally. So Katie and him, that really wasn't working out, so to speak. He said he didn't want to hear anymore she had to say. So that conversation was really done. Now Brandy came in. He said she came in just in time. You know, he loved his Brandy. He said she gives him, like, I guess, butterflies in the stomach. She make him feel some kind of way. And I think it's because she makes him nervous, but he said nervous in a good way. And I think the thing about that is, and I mentioned this earlier, I think it's a timing for things. And I understand they on a show where they're gonna have to hurry up and, you know, get information out, learn about as many people that they can to try to make that connection. I get that part, but you know, there's still a level of timing when you're getting to know someone, when you're in that courtship phase, when you're in that phase of discovery. Certain things should come in order. Don't come too heavy, too deep, too abrasive at one time. And he said Brandy knows how to talk to him. She knows how to handle him. Some may see that as, you know, he don't like people that maybe have opinions that's contradictory to his or opposite to his, or, you know, he's this big, you know, man who leads his way, and when people criticize him, he may not be appreciative of their opinions. I'm getting that feedback from other content creators, but that I don't really see that as much with him yet. It's just that some women may not know how to come at him the right way. You have to know how to handle people based on their personality. Brandy may have, you know, she takes her time to show that softer feminine side, that bubbly personality, giving that good vibe, maybe, you know, a little flirtation, but, you know, talks to him in a way where she's spoon feeding it to him in a nice way that's not coming off as an attack or intimidating or questioning his personality or manhood or anything like that. So how she handles him is what he likes. And she could probably come to him and question him on certain things, and he'll answer her and not be so offended because of the relationship that they've developed. So I think that goes for men and women. Take the time to listen to a person, study that person, and really not come off in such a harsh way where you turn that person off before you two really even get a chance to know each other. So Brandy knows how to handle him in that way, and that's what he likes. Now they get into the gentleman's lounge, and they're talking about who they like. So Samson, of course, likes Charisse. The eye contact, he said, was an issue in the beginning, but he learned how to deal with that. So the chemistry is developing. Randall and Tamika, he said, you know, he wants to dig a little deeper with her, but that date was cool. He likes her. LJ and Looney, of course, they were texting in the beginning, but when they met in person, they were able to pull back more layers. So that was really great. I like them two together, and I like them individually. Justice disrupted, talking about, yeah, I saw Looney, I wanted to get her back reconnected. You know, we had like that woosah moment, and LJ like, here go Justice. So not only is he rubbing some women the wrong way, Justice rubbing the men the wrong way too, because he got to put out there like, you know, yeah, I was going out for her, you know, I spoke to her first too, or whatever. Justice, I'm just like this with Justice, please. But anyway, so LJ was like, whatever, bro. So now the nose, Mike didn't care too much for April. We know that. Zoe doesn't like too much Brandy. He just didn't get a chance really to get to know her. Not anything bad about her, but they just didn't have that opportunity. Samson wasn't crazy about April either. LJ, Sharice wasn't his cup of tea. Swayze, Trinika, you know, they nice girl, but just romantically is not for him. Justice said Katie. Mike said Katie as well. So that left Katie and April at the bottom. And LJ was the one to break the news to April. She's not ready for love. Katie, even though she was, you know, licking her lips and eating those, that rib while she was drilling Mike, that wasn't enough for her to leave. I can get some of Katie's personality. I see a little of me in Katie. Not as harsh I would come off of, but I see a lot of direct firmness, you know, and how she wants to ask certain questions, but she still knows how to keep it fun and bubbly and flirtatious at the same time. That's why I think it's enough for the guys to still, you know, some to still vibe with her and not for her to totally be gone. April just doesn't get the hint. If someone's not interested, she gonna come on the attack, and it was just getting a little so she had to go, and I can see that. So that was that. So let's get into now episode 4. Okay, now we getting into episode 4, and the ladies have the power yet again. Now we welcoming back into the ladies lounge Looney. Our sister is back. Tommy mentioned how there will be an all-white party. So basically it's going to be games and socializing and everyone having a good time. Everyone's playing Jenga, and Jenga has little messages on it for them to do activities. So that's really fun during the day while they mingling, and at night they're going to get their white on. And let me tell you something, the kings and queens was absolutely fabulous. I love my black people. Nobody can put it on like us when we throw it on. The queens was queening and the kings were kinging. Yes, they absolutely looked amazing. Now, before we get into that, Looney had mentioned, well, one of the things that Tommy had said was that he wants everyone to be intentional. Now everyone's mingling. They should basically have a hold on, you know, who really they interested in. But you want to get a little bit more intimate and who they're dealing with. So Looney says that she hopes that the men are more intentional as well as the ladies, because, you know, she's ready for her leader. She's ready to find her king to lead, and she's ready to follow. Believe me, let me tell you something. Chivalry is not dead with me. And many times, I mean, now in this new millennial age, you know, we have those women who saying they can conquer it all, and we can, and they don't care about that give and take thing. You know, that's fine. You know, a partnership in your marriage, yes. I mean, men can do things to help out in the home just like women give it their all. If I happen to be home before my husband, you know, I sit up there and cook dinner, you know, straighten up, you know, those who have women, you know, I mean children, get the children in order, maybe have a nice little bubble bath when my husband comes in. But, you know, I work late and he's there before me. He can definitely, if he knows how to cook. I'm hoping my next king will know how to cook, will be able to chip in and do that as well, and maybe have my bubble bath. So yes, we are tired in this day and age. We have done so much, many of us single moms, and we definitely would love to follow that man of God, that man who will lead us in the right direction, lead our home. You know, and when you are letting God lead your life, you don't mind following that man that's led by God and doing right. And we have him at the center of our relationship, like Jackie pointed out tonight. So definitely that is what I was feeling loony on. I'm really ready to fall back, relax, and let a man do what he do. So then we have Kayla and Randall. Now they are really hitting it off. We know that Tamika really feeling Randall, and he's doing the same with her. But Kayla, was a little surprised. I didn't think that she would, maybe with the personality with Randall, that she would want somebody a little bit more alpha, and I'm not really getting that from Randall, but I really like his personality, and she's feeling it too. So he's looking to see if he can go a little bit more deeper with her because, I guess before it was surface level. They had maybe brief encounters like when they first mingled, but he really didn't get to have a chance with her. So he fed her. And I'm noticing the body language different than with Tamika. She was doing more of the leaning in. She was doing more of the nurturing. But I noticed with him, he wanted to feed her. He wanted to serve Kayla. She brought out something in him to want him to do that. And so that's really key. I saw a difference in how he's handling these women. And you see the little sexual innuendo. She was like, "Ooh, that's a big piece of meat," and "Oh, but it's juicy," and they laugh and doing their little flirting things. And I said, I see what y'all doing. So that was brewing. And then they spoke on family life. They shared a lot of the same interests when it came to family. He's very close to his family. So he spoke on that. In the future, he wants children. He said, but initially he wants to be able to do things with his wife, travel. And I really think a couple should get into themselves, wait on the children, get that foundation. The early part of your marriage is so crucial in laying that foundation down. Get to know each other more, travel, see the world, and do things, because once you start having a family, that can be hindered a little bit. So definitely get that going so you two can get that closeness. So I really agree with that. She already said, Kayla, she looking to have 2 boys. So he wanted children too. Then he threw in that 4 or 5, and she like, wait a minute. But she said she loved that grown man energy that he was putting out. So she didn't mind when he was talking about the children. Now, when he was walking her out, I noticed he picked her up. He squeezed her, had a little hug and a kiss. And it was a whole different vibe with them two. So I'm really seeing how he can have that connection with Kayla, and we'll see how that explored, because later on he's talking to Jamala, who he has another connection to, and old girl's getting a little jealous. So pump your brakes a little bit. We can't get so possessive so fast, Kayla, but they're also doing a lot of conversating and calling and stuff like that we don't get to see. But we'll hear a little bit that as the season go on. So when they make those comments, like we talk all the time, like with Swayze and Katie, and initially she wasn't feeling him. And so surprisingly, they've gotten a bond. So that's really key. Now, I had to take a breather on that one. My brother, Justice. He comes to meet Jamala. And, he said he likes Jamala. He thinks she's beautiful. She's voluptuous, likes the curves, little meat on her bones. And she's giving that, sexual energy that he likes. Okay, I get the vibe. But when she went to talk to him about what he's looking for in a woman and, what he expects, because she wants a man to want her just as much as she wants him. He said he's not a big dater. He's not the one that does a lot of multiple dating. He isn't looking to spend money. He likes the walks in the beach, but no elaborate dinners until he's feeding your energy. And, it's so bold, his attitude, it comes off real arrogant, and I really want to give him more credit, because I appreciate he doesn't want to waste women's time. And I don't want to waste yours either. I get that. But that whole, I'm the prize, I'm the king, many men feel that way, and women don't mind catering to that type of attitude, that they can feel they can continue to do that. No, brother. We are the prize. And ladies out there, especially you younger sisters, never forget that. It's okay for you to do for your significant other like he does for you. I'm not saying make it one-sided in a relationship, but when it comes in the beginning, Let that man be a man. Let him show you that he's a man. Let him lead. Let him go after you. Men are the conquerors by nature. They are the pursuers. If a man wants you, if he's into you, you can best believe he will let you know. It's not that I'm so shy kind of crap that you got to take charge and be so, so much of a leader. Because if you start that relationship always leading, always doing, always making the decisions, how you know what your man is made of? How do you know how he's going to be in a conflict and how he's going to be that protector and that one to lead your home if you never given him a chance to? You always the one pursuing. No, fall back, embrace that feminine side of you, and be that fabulous woman and that queen you are. You are that prize. Let him come after you and let you know, and then you'll reciprocate. If he's worthy of your honor, not the other way around. He's like, I got this kingdom that you want to be a part of, so you come to me, and if I feel your energy is worth you coming into my space, basically, then I'll take it a little further. We'll go from the beach or the park, maybe to a breakfast, a frappuccino and a scone. Then maybe I'll move over to lunch and dinner. Bruh, come on. The value of women you don't really see. He sees a lot of the value in himself more than he sees in that woman that he's pursuing. Nobody telling you to break the bank, brother, but let her know if you're into her. Let her see it. And if you got to be the one to step out, do that. You should. As a man, how dare you want these women to run after you, and you not doing that until you feel that they worthy of you to take that step towards them, bruh. But many times it's the women that set the tone, and because we create sometimes these monsters in men, and because you allow them to have that type of treatment, give you that type of treatment, they continue to do that because they know there will be women out there that will put up with it. No. So yeah, he has to get off his high horse because he definitely thinks the world revolves around him. No, boo-boo. I don't want to spend this whole rest of this video talking about him, but he has a lot yet to learn. And like Jamala said, you may miss out on something wonderful because of that attitude. You have to change your thinking, bruh. Change your thinking a little bit. I'm not saying a brother's all bad, but that whole it's about me thing, he has to chill with that. He has to chill with that. So, they got the all-white party. Everyone's playing games. They chatting a bit during the day, like I had mentioned. Now, Tommy came with his lovely wife, Jacqueline. And, of course, she came in the past on other seasons. So, he told the brothers, pull out all the stops. You got to let your partner feel special, Justice. You got to let them feel special, make them feel wanted. And then, he said, boo, to his baby, do I make you feel special? She said, yes, you got to do that for your queen. And he told the brothers to take note on that. So I hope they take note. Now, they're playing Jenga. They laughing, having fun. Randall gets a big, big hug from Jamala, and they start talking. He starts flirting with her a little bit. He likes her vibe as well. She likes him. He likes her. She said, you a real charmer. But, I guess you got to lay out a little of the charm. Like LJ, some of the women thinking, he doing a little too much, but he trying to let them see the nice side of him. If he's being charming, nothing wrong with being charming, and being a player or playing games with women is different. Being charming, nothing really too wrong with that. So, sometimes we think a little bit too much into stuff, but he's holding her hand and leaning into her. Is what I saw with him and Jamala, and that's what Trinika was doing with him. He's holding her hand. He's, really leaning on into her, and you see a vibe and a real strong attraction. So I don't know what he's gonna do with these three women, because Randall is really juggling, but he's so likable. He's so likable, and it's easy for a woman to be close to him because he says the right things. He says, he talks to Shakira later on, and she get that sweet vibe and falling into his brace. So he got these women into a spell. Yeah, you are a mega charmer, Randall, and the women are loving it. Now, I don't know why they ain't loving that with LJ, thinking he going too far. But Randall is just as much as a charmer. And y'all definitely see him as a keeper. Go figure. It's just who you like. You'll say one thing for one person. If you're not feeling them, say that. But don't make it like he's so much of a charmer. He's just, I don't think he know what he want or whatever. Because Looney don't feel that way. So, yeah. And Kenya over there looking like she got a little attitude with him with Jamala. But sis, he's trying to work his way to getting to know which woman is best for him. So, this is still early on. What is this, episode 4? You got to give it a little more time. Don't get all possessive. And this is what she seems to be doing. Now, Brandy over there giving Mike a little lap dance, doing her thing, and just as his little cheerleader, make room for the big girl, make room for the big girl. She just loving her Mike, and he loving his little dance. Now, Sharice comes over to talk to Zoe, which is really key because, I had I was attracted, with Zoe when he came in. I'm like, oh, okay, he's a nice looking brother, his little beard, he looked like he'd be sweet, but you gotta look, that's why you gotta dig a little deep and start having certain conversations. Sharice had the conversation with him about his situation before, because she really thought that Zoe would be a snoozer, he would be boring. So she wanted him to open up a little bit, and he did, about a 7-year relationship that he had 11 years ago that he ended with a woman he totally wasted her time. And I could understand being in a relationship that you feel have been a waste of time. I get that. Where people stringing you along and their heart is really not into it. But they pacify you, so to speak, and that can be wasted years. We've done that in marriages. Some, felt they got married for the wrong reasons, or they thought they did. They just didn't know enough. They wasn't compatible enough. I know, I've been divorced for a while, and I know in my marriage I can say the same thing. Sometimes I look back and felt like, I wasted time when I could have been out there pursuing this big love and not be divorced today. But I had beautiful children that came out of that situation. So I can't say it's been all for naught. But we go through these hills and valleys in our lives, and some things we regret and some things we wish we did different. But to have a woman, you not on the same wavelength for them, we have to stop that. We have to be honest in communication on how we feel about things. We have to, as we grow older, we perceive things different in life. But don't waste that many years on anyone not communicating how you really feel. And because she wanted that marriage, he gave her a ring. Then tell Sharice that he took the ring back the next morning because he realized this is not what he wanted to do. You've been felt this, brother, but you wasted this woman 7 years. And I think that's horrible, because that, it's like she was living a lie with you and wanting something that you knew you was never going to give her. And he's telling Sharice he eventually wants that. He eventually wants marriage, but with the right one. I don't know if Zoe knows what he wants yet. I don't even know if he's ready yet. I don't know how many more relationships he's had serious, or what work he's done on himself within these 11 years since that last long-term relationship. I don't know if he had any other long-term relationships. That probably was the last one. That's why he brought that one up. But that was 11 years ago. So I don't know if he's just been frivolously dating with no real aim for the past 11 years, or working on himself. But that should never happen again. Do not waste a woman's time like that, or waste a man's time. Time is precious. And as you get older, you realize it's not to be played with. So go intentional and try to find just the best, settle on the best choice for you. No one's perfect. But make sure you're on common ground and you going in the same direction. You want the same things and you're both ready at the same time. So that was really, Sharice said she wants someone to be upfront with her and communicate everything, because you don't want to be thinking something from your partner that's not there, and blindly, like she said, wandering around. That's just not cool, and that's not going to make it. So Mike, he took Sharice to the side, which was nice, and apologized. She said, you hurt my feelings. You came off a little aggressive because, like that's a red flag with her being 43 with no children. And sometimes women feel a certain way when they haven't met that person at a certain age and had that big love that they would like. I understand that. you know, you start to get older and you're like, when will my time come? It'll come. We have to be patient. We have to make sure we going about things the right way to find that right person, but be the best version of yourself. And I think you'll find the best version of a person for you, that best person for you. And just be authentic and just be honest, and but just continue to be yourself and emulate the, you know, the light that's within you, so you can get a person who's also shining that light. Because a lot of times we attract where we are in life and who we are, and we get bad people, or not bad people, but people just is not good for us and maybe toxic. It's because we was dealing with some type of toxicity within us, or we was in a bad place in our life, and that's what we attracted. So the more we heal and work on ourselves, like Shanika said with her, then it gets you in a better place to know who you are and what you want. Because I know it's going to be different for me than it was 23 years ago. When I met my husband, it's you know, it's gonna be different. I was a different person then than I am now. So I want things different. I want a different type of partner, and I'm more mindful of who I am, what I need, and what I desire, and the type of person that I would like for my life. So a lot of times that takes just going through stuff. So now, but he apologized, and that turned out good. So she said, if anything, like Sharice said, they'll be good friends. Now, Jamala, Mike, and Katie, you know, they having a nice conversation. They talking about, you know, how he tried to work things out with Sharice, and especially with black men. You know, sometimes how things are said and maybe taken the wrong way. So it's good that they had that, you know, came to that level of understanding. And so, you know, as they talking, I saw nothing wrong with the conversation. Shakira gets up and said, oh, I'm getting ready to leave. They're like, why? You know, why you going? So Katie says, you know, I could understand why she feels a certain way, being that what she's been through. You know, I guess she's affected from that conversation differently. Now, she was thrown back on that, feeling that they was telling her business to a man. She didn't specifically tell your business. That's why I'm not too sure if Shakira is ready to really get back out there. Number one, she's needy. She's already pointed that out. You know, she's upset these men didn't ask for her number, or they got the number, not calling her enough. And, you know, I guess that whole pursuit. And I feel if they not pursuing you that way, sis, they just not interested. Or they don't ask for a number, they not interested like that, period. But she's taking offense to that. And then she got real ultra sensitive on this. Katie, I don't think meant any harm. She was really trying to stand up for her and show understanding on the situation, how everybody doesn't perceive things the same way based on their personal experiences in life. And that's true. And she took it way some other way. And I know next week she's supposed to be crying to Tommy as if they violated her trust. And I just think she's just getting carried away on that situation. Put in the comments, do you think Katie's crossed the line in what she said? I don't. But maybe I'm perceiving this differently. I think Shakira just took it a little too far. Now, Kayla spoke to Randall about his connection with Jamala. And she's giving me those jealousy vibes like I had mentioned. And, you know, she said, I told you about how I feel in the direction I want to go in this. And that's okay if you have your heart set on where you want to go with Randall. But he's not totally set on you 100%, Kayla. And so you can't make his mind up for him. That's the problem. So I hope she's not going in that jealous, possessive direction already, because she's going to kill it with Randall before it really gets off the ground right, because this man is still juggling 3 women that he's basically interested in. And he has to get through this process. And so that's why you need to maneuver and continue to get to know other men, because you might find out you connect with someone a little bit more than Randall. This is how this thing goes. Now, LJ and Looney's talking, and he's telling her, you know, they're having these nice lighthearted conversations. I hope he's for real, because, you know, he seems like a pretty genuine dude. But he's talking about they got together, he'd take on a trip to Mexico and how romantic it would be and the things he'd do and the rose petals and all that. And she's really loving it because, of course, we love fantasizing about romantic things, you know, women tend to be romantic at heart, and he seems to have a little romance, and I'm just liking that lighthearted conversation. So yeah, I like a boo to go to with Mexico. I've been to Mexico since I was married, and that was a long time ago. And other than that, the other times I went to Mexico, it been with girlfriends. So to go on a romantic vacation with a man again, it would be amazing. So I'm sure Looney loved hearing those plans. Now Swayze and Katie, and this couple, I mean, they took me by surprise, but they are vibing. She says they talk every day. They're very flirty, and he puts it out there, and she knows what she's gonna get from Swayze is what she's gonna get. And he says he's not one, and it shocked me because I thought he would be the big flirt, but he don't like bouncing from women to women. If he has a connection with Katie, he said that's where he wants to continue pursuing. So he wants to build on that. So she feels the same way. They may get somewhere because they naturally laugh and have a good time together. And I like how Katie is when she's with him. So, and then before she seemed a little harder, a little abrasive when she's sitting up here, interviewing these other brothers. But when she's with him, I see a softer side. And many times a certain man will bring that out in you. That's how you know you really feeling this brother, when they bring out that girly side in a woman and not bringing that more masculine side of her out. She gets to embrace more that feminine side. So he brings that softness out in her that I think is absolutely adorable. So they are really feeling each other. He's growing on her. And yeah, I like to see where they go. Now, Jackie met with Sharice and Zoe. She asked, what is the secret? And she said that basically with her and Tommy, they both were ready. And it's true. You have to both be ready if you're going to go in that same direction and get to know each other. If one's not ready, you're just basically wasting your time. So she said that was key. And they just fuss it out. And if they had problems, they told each other from the door, there is no divorce. We just going to have to deal with this issue with each other and God at the center. And that's the best advice. I love that, Jackie, because that's so true. We have to really, have God as our rock in the center, and that's who we lean on to deal with any issues, the Lord's words. And that's will build that strength and that spirituality and that foundation that will get you through those storms. And remember why you two, first fell in love, why y'all got together, and who will continue to be the glue to keep that marriage and that relationship together. And that is the Most High. So that was gold right there. Now, Shakira with LJ, she was acting a little coy with him. She said something about she thinks he's a little too charming, which I really didn't get. But I think she's more upset that she says she requires a little more attention. She said, you called me once, that was it. He was like, I thought I called you back. She was like, no, you didn't. So that was that whole back and forth thing. So she said, I don't want to seem like I'm needy, but I want the attention. Yes, you are needy, Shakira. You need that attention, but it's going to come off maybe as a turn off with some men. And I don't think that was a fair comment because you pissed off because he didn't call you to say he's too much of a charmer because he's out there talking to other women, and he may be feeling more than you, period. So I don't know with Shakira because she said if she doesn't get that attention, she's going to walk away. Well, that's maybe what you'll have to do. Plain and simple. Mike and Kayla was talking. Jackie was over there with them. They were trying to get to know each other a little bit more. I don't see that really going anywhere. They asked about the age difference. Jackie, it didn't matter with Kayla. She's more usually into an older man. He said it matters to him, but he'll tolerate it. You just can't be tolerating stuff. That's a lot of times we tolerate stuff that we really wasn't feeling in the beginning, and that toleration is going to show, and it's just not going to work out in the long run. So it is what it is. But they were just entertaining her. Jackie was like, good luck with each other or with someone else. Because she already knows they interested in someone else. Now, Samson, this was really touching for me. Samson said he wants a story. He likes to hear a woman's story. A lot of times we feel men don't want to hear that. And that's what Charisse had mentioned to him. Him saying that was very refreshing because men many times don't seem to value what we've been through, the struggles. He understands struggle. He said he wants to hear what a woman struggle, that you know you're real. He said he went through struggles with his mom, I think, and a brother, but he's picking cans off the street to make extra money, but mom made it happen, and she had to do what she had to do. And but that made him who he is today. That gave him a love and respect for black women. And it was just refreshing to see how he saw her. He saw Sharice, what we deal with, and men not appreciating who we are, all of who we are, and accept the bad with the good. The struggles, the pains, the, not seeing us as damaged goods because we've been through stuff. And it legitimately, I had tears in my eyes almost, because I thought that was a very tender moment. It really let me see a softer, a nice side of Sharice, and really seeing something real that women go through with men in this struggle with each other, not being seen, not communicating well, not understanding one another. And it's like he understood us as black women and respected and cherished that, all of us. So I love that. I'm really, really loving Samson right now. So I'm rooting for them. They look like they getting in a good space, and I like that. And they really feeling each other. And she said it was a breath of fresh air, and it was a breath of fresh air for me too. Now, Randall, Shakira spoke. He understood, her struggles, made her feel good, told her, any man would be lucky to have someone like her. She just ate that up and really appreciated him saying that, because a lot of times when you do go through certain things, whether it's abuse or, the pains of a single mom, it's almost seemed like a stigma, or men want to shy away from that and not understand the beauty of coming through the fire and raising out of a situation like a phoenix from the ashes, and really, just overcoming a lot of things. That's a beautiful thing. It shows your resilience and it shows your strength. And he said he saw that and he appreciated that. And she appreciated him saying that. Now, Justice, our brother, got to go. He got to go. He's rushing out. Hey, brother got to make coins. I mean, my thing is, I just think you should have said something, Justice, to Tommy before you left. You knew it was going to be a white party on the day of your grand opening for your business. Brother, handle your business. You got to take care of that kingdom, right? For the king that's going to come to you. But I get it. You working, you felt bad. You had to leave early. And you told Jamala. You rushed out. I just think you should have gave word, bro, to Tommy before you left. Apologize. Explain to the group, I have to leave. I'm sorry. This is what's going on. And let them know you respect and appreciate all of them, because they're there for you too, to get to know you too. And then you up and left, and they may all be looking for you, and you're not there. So it's coming down to that. Tommy's meeting with the ladies, and he expressed that. And Tommy wasn't feeling too keen on that. But it is what it is. So, she told him to text her later or whatever. He gave her a kiss, said, say stuff, tell the group I had to leave, and that was it. Now, when the ladies all get with Tommy, he asks who everyone likes. Jamala, of course, she's feeling Randall. Kayla, she's feeling Randall. Trinika, she's feeling Randall. Looney loves EJ. They vibing. Shakira, Samson, Shanice, Samson, Katie and Swayze, Brandy, Mike. So Randall got and Samson were the two top, I think, for the night when it came to the ladies. The bottom, Sharice, Mike, is a no. Looney, Kayla, and Katie said no to Zoe. They don't even think he there for the right reasons. He ain't there to find somebody. He's just not ready. Trinika says Swayze. Jamala said Samson. Brandy, LJ, and Justice. Brandy said, LJ and Justice for Brandy. And Shakira said LJ. So that made Zoe and LJ basically at the bottom. Justice probably would have been at the bottom too, because him and LJ was running 2 and 2. for women not feeling them. And Zoe was at the top with 3 no's. But Justice bounced. So I don't know if the whole business thing, if he talks to Tommy later, that squares it away. And, you know, that saves him. We don't know until next week who is going to be the one to go. I say Zoe is out of here. I don't want LJ. I don't think LJ should be leaving. Even if someone didn't have a conversation with him yet, I don't think he should go. But he may be, from the previews, he goes at it with Charisse, so he may not be the one to go. I hope it's not LJ, and Justice, because you left early, may be the one that Tommy decides to eliminate, just for the fact that you didn't respect me enough to call me and talk to me before you just up and left my white party. So what do you think? Who do you think is going to be out of there next week? Please put in the comments what you thought about it.